Live from the Business RadioX studio inside Renaissance Bank, the bank that specializes in understanding you. It's time for North Fulton Business Radio.
And hello again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of North Fulton Business Radio. I'm John Ray, and folks, we are broadcasting as usual from inside Renaissance Bank in beautiful Alpharetta. And if you're looking for a bank that is big enough to handle pretty much any need you can throw at them, but small enough to do it in a personal way, well, I'm sitting in that bank. It's Renaissance Bank. And I know that from dealing with them myself and the clients that I have that I work with, that we work with Renaissance, they actually answer their own phone. Imagine that. You don't get that at the mega banks. So if you want to test that out, go to renaissancebank.com, find one of their local offices. They've got some 200 or so around the southeast, and give them a call. I think you'll be glad you did. Renaissance Bank, understanding you, member FDIC. And now I want to welcome Daniel Matalon. Daniel is the CEO of both a Second Chance Bail Bonds and a Second Chance Monitoring. Daniel, you're busy.
Yep, I am very busy.
For those that don't know of your work, let's give everyone an introduction to your companies. How you serving folks out there?
So been in the bail bond business, a Second Chance Bail Bonds for almost 17 years here and throughout Metro Atlanta, throughout the state of Georgia. And then a Second Chance Monitoring was a spinoff that we opened about 3 years ago. When there was a need in the community for alternatives to incarceration, and we kind of met the challenge and put together a product that could serve the entire state of Georgia.
Wow, a whole lot there. But let's I want to get to both of those, but let's talk about you for a second. How'd you get in this business? Talk about your backstory.
Yeah, so it was an accident, like most things in life, and I kind of fell into the bail bond business. Was a friend of mine in Gwinnett County, a good friend of mine, and he offered me a position. I had just moved here from South Florida, from Miami, and was kind of starting over. And we met and became friends, and kind of the rest is history. I began working for him in about 2004, and then.
Was he in the bail bonds business?
He was in the bail bond business,
okay.
Yep, here in Georgia.
Okay.
And then that quickly led to, me taking to it pretty quickly, and I excelled pretty quickly, and then quickly realized that this was something that I had a desire and appetite to try and do myself. So that's when I, went out on my own in March of 2007.
Oh, okay. So let's talk about the bail bond industry just generally, because everyone's got their own conception of the industry, right? Some of it is based on what they've seen on this movie or that television show, what have you.
Right.
Sometimes that's not real favorable, right. And there's probably some things you'd like to counter about that. So let's talk about it.
Well, I think. Look, at the end of the day, I don't look at us as bail bondsmen, especially our company, A Second Chance. It's, we're people serving people in the community, making a difference in people's lives. And that for us is part of our core values as a company. But, yes, the normal thing in bail bonds is you get asked, is Dog the Bounty Hunter real, or or is what you do this sleazy type of industry, and that's been the conception for decades.
Right.
People have felt that way,
right? So
we've tried to change that narrative by doing great work in the community and really taking care of the people that are our customers,
sure,
and putting them first. And we've been able to do that here. We've made some progress for sure, but yes, at the end of the day, it still comes back to the visual that most people have of a bail bondsman. Yeah,
right. And I guess something tells me that you had this opportunity, and this is a question. Sounds like you had this opportunity to be in the business as an employee for a long time.
I did.
And then really see what you thought was a really a fit, a way to improve the industry, a way to change the narrative. And that's what you implemented when you started your own business. Is that fair enough?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. There was things that I saw that I didn't like in the industry, and I felt that I could put my fingerprint on it and make it better. And that's what I set out to do.
Wait, let's talk about some of the things that you mentioned, the community service, and I want to get to that in a second, because there's some very specific things that you're doing in the community that make you different than other companies in the industry. But talk about some of the other things that you think distinguish you.
Well, as far as getting involved with the community in each county that we serve, right? So it's not just like a statewide thing. It's, we dive in when we're in that community, doing business in that community. We try to align with all the officials in that county to make sure that we're, serving the community. So we immediately line up, whether it's with the police department, sheriff's department, county commissioners, the mayor's office, and the list goes on, right? So that's kind of our MO. Got
it. But you're involved in, when people think of community service, they think of giving back, and you're involved in a number of initiatives in that regard, right?
Oh, absolutely. Our schedules stay pretty busy when it comes to that. This past weekend, we attended Gwinnett County Sheriff Kibo Taylor's backpack drive. Over 6,000 backpacks. Oh, wow. 48 vendors. Kids getting free haircuts. I mean, just an incredible event. And those are the types of things that we're on the ground. So we set up a booth. We're handing out stuff to kids, playing games with the kids, and spending the day with them, as well as contributing to the backpack giveaway as well too. We probably give away over 7,500 backpacks this year throughout the metro. And following that event, we went to the Fulton County District Attorney's backpack giveaway in Sandy Springs. Madam DA Fonnie Willis had a great event, and actually she had multiple events throughout the day, backpack giveaways, and so it's stuff like that, food drives, anything pertaining to helping in the community we're involved in. Yeah. And you'll see us out, night outs, night out for Cobb County Police Department. That's coming up, which is a huge event, first day of school back. And we'll be there with, Cobb County Fire Department and 911, Sheriff's Office, EMS, the whole team. So those are things, it's part of our core values. So we jump right in, every time. Yeah. Yeah.
Daniel Matalon is with us, folks. He is the CEO, owner of two companies, the Second Chance Bail Bond and a Second Chance Monitoring. So let's just talk about, for those that maybe don't know or whatever they know is affected by Hollywood, let's talk about just the how your business works in the bail bond business. How does it work?
Well, I mean, essentially the basic, we're in the appearance business, right? So we're guaranteeing their appearance in court, an accused person's appearance in court. And if they don't go to court, then we're responsible either to bring them back into custody or to pay the bond financially to the court. And that's the bulk of it, right? Yeah. I mean, that's basically the gist of it.
Got it.
And then in between, where we kind of are different is we're, helping them with court dates, and we're very hands-on throughout the process, and giving them the resources that they need. So it's not just you come into the office, pay the bondsman, and you never hear from the bondsman again.
Got it.
It's we actually take each case very seriously, and we work with these families because, it's a difficult situation. Some people have been through it. Some people haven't been through it. Yeah. And, so we help facilitate that process until the end, until there's a disposition in the case.
You've got strikes me as a challenge in your business, but I mean, those that know you and used your services before, they know you, but it's not like you keep the your phone number on your refrigerator, right? I mean,
Right.
that's like, the same's true for somebody that does a will, right? I mean, you know, if you might keep the air conditioning guy on your number on your refrigerator, but not your number, right?
Right.
So how do you maintain the awareness for people that they get in trouble, they need your services, you know, so that they can find you?
Well, I mean, so we're on all social media platforms. We just recently launched a pretty successful TikTok campaign, which has been awesome and fun.
Really?
Yeah, it's on TikTok now, probably about in the last 45 days. And that's been going extremely well. And, you know, that's in a light way of kind of being informative and also getting to the base of people out there. And, you know, letting them know kind of what's going on. And it's more of in a lighter fashion where it's not as serious.
Yeah.
But at the same time, people are understanding who we are and brand recognition and things like that.
Got it. Let's talk about a Second Chance Monitoring. Talk about that company, why you formed it, and what it's all about.
So several years back, I was challenged by one of the county commissioners that I know. And, you know, she said, Daniel, can you provide alternatives to incarceration? You know, and everybody's always known an ankle monitor has been around, you know, since probably the early 90s. And, you know, but that's all that we've ever had, right? So it's like either you went to jail, you got out on bond, and then they put an ankle monitor on you, possibly depending on how high risk you were. And that's it. And, you know, it's like, well, the criminal justice system is not one size fits all, as we know. So I took the challenge, and there weren't a lot of people in that industry, and there was a lack of service kind of across the state. So they encouraged me to do this. And so I spent some time putting the business plan together and actually putting it together correctly and building the structure of the company to, you know, so we could, you know, have a long lasting impression on this deal. And so that's what led me back into monitoring to provide, you know, alternatives to incarceration.
And what does that look like in terms of you mentioned ankle monitors have been around a long time, but what other technology are you using there?
So you have remote devices. You also have cell phones that work, that allow defendants to get back on track with their lives with a tether. You can also add a tether to it as well if you want or not. Basically, what it does is it allows you to have different levels of how you want to monitor a defendant. So if it's a low risk offender, then you might have them on the app and they're checking in on the app. If it's more of a high risk, then, you know, yes, you have the ankle monitor on. So we have different solutions on our website and through our network that can give people options, right? And give judges options and give prosecutors options of other things to do than just one size fits all.
Got it. And this is not just for those that have some sort of case pending, but this is for someone that's maybe been convicted of some sort of crime, some sort of felony, and they're sentenced to some sort of release through that involves monitoring. Right.
So it could be on the front end prior to, and then it can also be post conviction. Absolutely.
Yep. What are the savings that are involved here? I mean, the savings have got to be significant for a overcrowded justice system, prison system that we have in the state of Georgia.
Yeah. So especially in the metro, you know, and it's starting to get out into the outer lying counties, and it's been there, but not as frequent as it's been used in the metro. But yes, absolutely. You know, I mean, you're taking people and, you know, basically allowing them to be out prior to their case, you know, going to court. And yeah, the cost is significantly less to what it would be to housing someone inside the jail. And, you know, look, not everybody belongs in jail, right? And I think it's a tool that's been used, and I think it works great to help alleviate some of that clogging inside the jails and stuff like that, as you know, as we know, exists here in Atlanta right now.
Right. And are there are there some dollars and cents savings that you can point to on this, or I guess it varies by jurisdiction?
Well, right. Yeah. I mean, it depends on what they're paying, but I mean, I would say an average of, a monitor could cost anywhere from, $8 to $10 a day versus what it would cost, and each county varies as far as what their cost per defendant is in custody.
Sure.
But it's a significant savings for sure.
Yeah. It's got to be more than $8 to $10 a day to keep someone behind bars.
That's right.
For sure. So what's the trajectory of the monitoring business? Because this strikes me as something that has some real legs to it, given the fact that the state and local authorities really don't want to build more prisons and jails. I mean, I don't see politicians running on this as something, that's the way they want to spend taxpayer money, right?
Right.
So it seems like everybody might be on the same page about this. So what's the trajectory of this business? What does it look like?
Well, I mean, look, I think having more options, not just an ankle monitor is a great solution, because you have from juvenile defendants to adults. I mean, not one size doesn't fit all, right? So I think having the best equipment, the best options, best software, and putting that into motion and really educating, I think, is probably the biggest thing, because there is a lack of education surrounding a lot of this technology that's out there.
Yeah, right.
And that's kind of the path that we've been on, is getting out there and doing that. But, look, the sky's the limit as far as this goes. And I think it's just a conversation that both sides need to have, from venue to venue, and see what their needs are. In some cases, there's a big need. In some cases, there's a small need, and whatever that is, you try to fill that need.
Well, and if you're talking about an after conviction kind of sentencing where monitoring is part of that, then you're really giving the court and that defendant, you're really giving them a lot more options for rehabilitation. I mean, because they've got the freedom to be able to go access these services that they could not get behind bars.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's really what we're talking about here, right?
Right. Getting people back on track with their life.
Right.
And that's what it's about.
And
and in the interim, while they're awaiting court, or the case may be null prossed and dropped, or it may go to trial, or they may plead the case. That's not for us to decide. This just gives them a pathway to continue on with their life if they have children, they have jobs, things of that nature, and it kind of keeps things, keeps the cycle of life going for them.
Yeah, you mentioned families. It prevents breaking up families and that kind of thing as well.
Right.
So that's an important piece to it as well. Folks, we're here speaking with Daniel Matalon. Daniel is the CEO owner of both a Second Chance bail bonds and a Second Chance monitoring. So, what you mentioned the community involvement and professionalism, and those two concepts in the same sentence. Talk more about that. So,
for us, the community piece is so huge for us, right? And especially in the Metro Atlanta, Cobb, Fulton, DeKalb, Gwinnett, we partner with the sheriff's departments and do a lot of events and things of that nature. And that's the core of who we are, right? So this is a Second Chance is bigger than bail bonds. And, and that's, I guess, the big message here, right? And people who know us well know what we're all about. And that's community first, right? And so that's just something that's, part of the culture of what we do. And it's instilled in everybody at a Second Chance. It's a way of life for us. And that's what makes me happy, right? That's attending all these community events and getting involved. And there's so many different ways it can happen, right? You find out what the needs are in all these different areas. And I think it's important that if you're doing business in a community, you should also be serving that community, with your, community service or whatever it is you can.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
And you've grown fairly quickly throughout the state. Let's talk about that. Why has that happened?
Well, we
obviously great management, right?
Yeah. I mean, the team from the top to the bottom has been great, but the executive leadership at A Second Chance is why that's happened. Ryan's been involved, Jesse, Lindy, and the list goes on, right? Yeah. But that's how you get from point A to point B. But they've done an exceptional job of keeping it going, and we have big aspirations and plans to expand this thing throughout Georgia still, but also outside of the state of Georgia as well.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little more. You just got approved in your first state outside of Georgia, right?
Yep, that's right. We just got licensed in the state of Alabama.
Congratulations.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah. It's exciting. It was kind of a decision that I made where it was, I sat down and had a moment of clarity with myself, which was either you're going to stay here and continue doing what you're doing, or you're going to go out and do something great. And I chose the latter.
Wow. Talk more about that moment of clarity, because there's probably a lot of entrepreneurs out there that'd like to hear more about kind of what because they're thinking the same thing, right? They're at this decision point of whether to stay where they are or really cross the Rubicon and try something really big. What considerations did you have around that?
Well, after speaking with my board of directors and my team, and consultant and, Tim Fulton, who's big in the business world here in Metro Atlanta, who's been around, might I add, since the beginning, right? So he helped me write the first business plan for A Second Chance bail bonds many years ago, and is still involved today. But after talking with them, it was pretty simple. It was either you can stay in cruise control where you're at and do well, or you can take it to the next level. But the next level is going to require infrastructure and processes and things that are going to have to be elevated even further than where they were. And for me, as an adrenaline junkie, that sounded exciting, So I was, as a risk taker, I was, I was up for the challenge without a doubt. I just needed to figure out how to get there and do it the right way. And that was the big thing for me was, making sure I had the resources and the right people around me to launch something like this. And we're well on our way.
Yeah, that's great. Congratulations on that. So what does that look like? You're now licensed in Alabama. You're going to build throughout Alabama. What other plans do you have? What's the 3 to 5 year picture look like for you?
I don't like to talk about specific jurisdictions until it's done, for different reasons. But we do have plans to be in multi-states, and hopefully become one of the largest bail bonding companies in the country.
Good for you. Why Alabama to start out? You obviously had your pick of 49 states, so why Alabama?
Well, it was close to home. Okay. And I think there was an opportunity that presented itself there. And after I vetted that opportunity, then, being that it was close to here, the geographical location obviously helps, because, your first project out of state, you don't want it to be in California and you're living in Georgia, and,
sure,
that wouldn't make too much sense. But being that it was close to home and the opportunity, and it was a good fit for us. And we could kind of put what we have here in Georgia into Alabama. And I think it's going to be a great relationship with all of our people there. And so we're rolling that out right now.
Yeah, that's terrific. So, Daniel, this has been great. And I can't imagine that there aren't some folks that would like to know more. Maybe use your services or just learn more about you and your company. So let's give them directions on how they can find you.
Yeah. So our website is, you can go to atlbail.com, or a2cmonitoring.com for the ankle monitoring.
Yep.
And then, the phone number for bail would be 404 bail out would be your best number.
Got it. Daniel Matalon, folks, the CEO, owner of A Second Chance Bail Bond and A Second Chance Monitoring. Daniel, this has been great. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Hey, folks, just a quick reminder. If you have got dysfunction in your business that involves administrative tasks you're spending too much time on, or maybe your bookkeeping consists of a Nike shoebox with a big pile of receipts, you need some help, and you need to get that stuff off your plate so you can spend time on the front office part of the business with potential clients and your existing customers. Office Angels can help. They have a whole team of angels that fly in, get that work done, and they fly out. And they do it on an ongoing or as-needed basis. And what they do is really return the joy back to your business so that you're working on things that you really enjoy working on. My suggestion is go to officeangels.us, but better yet, just give them a call, 678-528-0500. Describe your problem, and I think they will be glad to help you. And guess what? They helped me in my business, and I couldn't work without them. So they're terrific. And just a quick thank you to our listeners. We're coming up on show number 700 of North Fulton Business Radio, and we've only come this far because of you. So thank you for your continued support, and continue to do what you've always done, which is share the show. If you've heard something here that makes you want to share the show with a friend or some on social media or something like that, please feel free to do that and continue to do that. That's how we shine the light on great business leaders like Daniel and the other 1,300 guests that we've had on this show over these past 7+ years. And you help us continue to lean in and fulfill our mission to be the voice of business in the North Fulton region. So for my guest, Daniel Matalon, I'm John Ray. Join us next time here on North Fulton Business Radio.